My name is Phila Beck, and at the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And this video is going to be the second of my reviews of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I just got my copy of Tempest yesterday. Oh boy, that is a big meaty book. It's going to take me about a week or so to get through. It is dense. I'm about halfway through the first part of it right now. But I fell asleep. What can I do? So, but I'm reviewing the second volume right now. I'm going to be doing the rest of them as I go along. But before I get there, if you enjoy this content, if you can consider hitting the subscribe button, that would be freaking awesome for me. And even if you do that or you don't do that, if you hit the like button as well, that's really, really helpful. And I and people just say, and I appreciate it. I actually genuinely do appreciate it. I really do. And if you like Doctor Who, I figure you like Alan Moore, you might like Doctor Who, you never know. I'm giving away Doctor Who, giving away this Tom Baker set, the E-Space Trilogy, starring Tom Baker, Lalla Ward, and Matthew Waterhouse. What's fun about this set is, this is where Tom Baker and Lalla Ward's short marriage was clearly breaking apart. You can see the utter hatred they each other had for them in their eyes as they're filming it. All you need to do to win it, the instructor in the video notes, is leave the hashtag Marshman. And if you do that, please subscribe to the channel. There's no way for me to check that I know of, because I'm a boomer and I don't know how to do these things. I don't even know how to make playlists. I really got to make playlists, because I got tons of videos now. But again, boomer, what can you do? And we do the prize drawing on Sundays. So the next one will be, what day is it? Wednesday? So Thursday, Friday, Sunday. It's be the February 9th, I think. We do it on Sundays on the TardisZone, about 2 hours after Doctor Who airs in the UK. And we're normally not that complimentary about it, but, never know. We live in hope, something great may happen. Anyway, this video is not about any of those things. It's about this, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Volume 2. My favourite of the League of the Extraordinary Gentlemen books by Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill. Just sumptuous. You haven't read any? Go out and buy them now. This one is, I think you actually could just jump in on this volume, because it's like the first volume is all about setting up the characters and what the world is and what's going on. This one, you just go straight into the plot, which actually, again, I liked a lot more. I think the plot I think this is the most accessible, and by that I mean less incredibly intelligent, at least incredibly intelligent, while still being incredibly intelligent at the same time. So we have the first part. It's a six-part. It was a six-part miniseries. The first issue is really, really clever. It's a whole prologue taking place on Mars. So this whole volume deals with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen meet War of the Worlds, and it does it really well. Now, I love War of the Worlds, by the way. War of the Worlds is one of my all-time favourite books, and I love just about every adaptation of it. But if you want a really good one, there's one by Sherwood Sound, which is really, really accurate to the book, and I thought it was great. There's also Big Finish did an audio version as well. It was okay. It wasn't good. The Sherwood Sound one was really fantastic. I'd recommend that wholeheartedly. So the first part of this is a prologue set on Mars, where we got Alan Carter of Mars and Gulliver leading an attack against the War of the Worlds Martians and repelling them from the world. It's just tons and tons and tons of really, really clever references to turn of the century pop culture. And thus we see how the Martians from War of the Worlds ended up on our world. It was an escape plan. By the way, if you do like War of the Worlds and you like this kind of thing, something I could really wholeheartedly recommend is this. It's Scarlet Traces. It's there's 2 volumes of it right now. This is the first volume, and this is the second volume. It starts off as a pretty good retelling or a comic book adaptation of War of the Worlds, and then it moves on to the idea of what would Britain do with all that alien technology once they had it, and it's really clear. And then as it goes on, there's much more references to pop culture, much like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So if you haven't read it, that's a real strong recommend as well. Maybe I'll do reviews of those at some point. It means rereading. I really like the artwork as well, but I understand a lot of people don't. Fine. So where are we up to? Yeah, so the story really kicks off. We have a retelling of War of the Worlds, and it's done with Alan Moore's delightful naughtiness and playfulness, which always always shines through in his work. You know that he's very, very clever, but he's very funny and he's very silly, and it's just nice. It's just fun to read his work when he's in a good mood. I think Lairmore put out this thing, about 6 months ago, talking about how a father has always like been grumpy, and like is angry at comics, and she says, yeah, that's pretty much true, but he's angry for good reason. But could you imagine what the world would have been like if we didn't piss off Alan Moore and like just rip his heart out over and over and over again over something he loves? And can you imagine all the fantastic, fun, loving, wonderful comic books we would have had that we never did? I really want to live in that world. I want to live in that universe where I see Alan Moore doing Green Lantern run or things like, because I think they would have all been brilliant. Listen, I would much rather see a happy Alan Moore than a grumpy Alan Moore. But I think he does his best as well to be a happy, grounded person. But I think he's got pretty good reason to be upset. Some of his reasons I don't think is, but yeah, it's not really for me to judge. Fine. So we have we have these cool scenes with the League facing off against the Martian heat ray, very accurately represented. I think this is the first time that somebody visually portrayed the heat ray as it was talked about in the book, without it being like a laser beam, just seeing people starting to burst into flames. And like upon seeing the devastating Martian technology, Griffin, the Invisible Man, obviously turns traitor, and he goes and talks to the Martians to make a deal with them. Yeah, again, in a combination of League is a combination of deep insight and knowledge and respect for the source material, and at the same time adding like new dimensions and new stories which don't contradict them, but it's all just so packed with Alan Moore's personality and ideas. It's really again, this is such a lovely book. I can't recommend it strong enough. It just leaves you, even though it deals with like some horrific and devastating, it leaves you like kind of chirpy and happy. It's funny. So the story progresses much along the lines of War of the Worlds, with the characters seamlessly weaving in and out of that narrative during like the panic evacuation from Horsell to London. As at this point, it seems that the Martians can't get out their craters. Once in London, Quatermain, Hyde, and Nemo head back to Horsell after debriefing M and Campion Bond, their bosses at the British intelligence. And on the way there, they encounter their first tripod, and it's like, again, fantastic scene of Hyde coming up against this tripod. Finally, saying he can fight. That's strong enough to fight him. So as that's going on, there's this really graphic and savage attack from Griffin, the Invisible Man, on Minamari. And like this is again pure Alan Moore. Alan Moore has a way of doing these really, truly authentic and very, very dark, darkly violent episodes that kind of tap into the absolute worst of humanity and the worst of that's in yourself. Because it's weird. They also did this with the rape scene in Providence, which was just horrifying, but also at the same time kind of titillating as well. I mean, like, just go straight into like your primal, your primal darkness that I think our body just go, yeah, and then it makes you horrified with yourself, that you're titillated by it. But I think it's just a human reaction to it. So he had this like really, I think, degrading and savage assault on Mina Harker, which again I thought was going to turn into rape, which I'm kind of glad that it didn't. So Griffin steals the maps of the British defences. By the way, if I didn't mention, spoilers. Spoiled this thoroughly, but it really doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I think League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is one of those things where it's the journey is the joy rather than the destination. So Hyde, Nemo, and Quatermain, they arrive back and they find Murray been, unconscious, been beaten up, and Hyde's reaction is just perfect. And really, this is one of the best things of the book, is Hyde's reaction to this, because he's always kind of had this deep love and respect for Murray, Mina Murray, because she was never showed fear of him. So again, you see his love, even though he's like this incredibly brutal beast, this monster, and he sees this attack on her as just being something completely intolerable. Fine. So as we can continue, we get more interaction with the events of War of the Worlds, and I think the fourth part starts off with the recreation of the thundercloud, which is when a ship charged the tripod and knocked it out. What really happened apparently was Nemo turned up with a Nautilus and attacked it, and it's just again fantastic, glorious moment. And I really it was very cinematic. Yeah, I really think that if they're gonna do a TV or a movie adaptation of this really is right for like a Netflix, a good 8 hour or six. Yeah, you could probably do it in 4 or 5 hour like show, like one chunk where we can have all these incredible cinematic moments. Actually, if they do that, there's probably going to be on HBO Max because HBO owns. I think HBO owns League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I think they do. So Murray and Quatermain are meanwhile they've been dispatched to the glorious rolling British countryside. Colouring there is because it's just so vibrant. There's so greens and the blooms are so vibrant and they're so English. Yeah, it really does work. Is that bright British summertime? And they're looking for a contact. They were sent there by airmen from MI5 or MI6, and eventually they start to find the quarry, and it's pretty clear we're dealing with. We've now verged into a sequel of the island of Doctor Moreau. So intercut with this, we have the Nemo and Nemo and Hyde team up, that's just brilliant as they battle Martians. Hyde brews, aching for a chance to get retribution at Griffin, and Griffin, for his part, is now fully working for the Martians. He wants them to destroy the Nautilus. It's kind of smart. It's good advice. It's the best defense they have against them. Murray and Quatermain, for their part, they hook up and they have this extended and very very honest sex sequence where Quatermain is like old and wrinkly, and it didn't seem like Hollywoodized sex. It seemed like kind of realistic to me. And basically, we end up with Mina Murray, who's always worn a scarf around her neck. The scarf comes down, and because that's where Dracula was bit her and vampirized her. And you expect to see the two neat puncture moves, but really her neck's been torn apart by it looks like by an animal, which I think again is pretty sinks in with the original Dracula novel. Fine, so the Martians start attacking. They want to neutralize the Nautilus, so they attack the Thames with the red weed from the latter part of the War of the Worlds novel. So next day, Quarterman and Murray are in the woods looking for their contact. They're like these like young lovers now, and they're like they're all over each other. They start having sex again in the woods, only to be interrupted by Rupert the Bear. So Rupert the Bear, if you don't know, is like an English children's TV friendly bear, but this Rupert the Bear is a Dr. Moreau Rupert the Bear. So he's this terrifying, massive grizzly bear that's been augmented and dressed in a red sweater and a yellow check pants or trousers, I should say. I'm talking about this, and a matching scarf. And then they meet like a whole menagerie of augmented animals. So back at the museum after in London, after spending a day battling Martian tripods, Hyde goes back for dinner. Now Hyde can see Griffin. We established that in the first volume, but he's kept that to himself, and he doesn't tell him that he can find him until there's no way Griffin can possibly get out. And what follows is this just incredibly disturbing, kind of funny as well, methodical torture scene. When Hyde grabs Griffin, and Griffin has no choice. He's like snapping his legs and doing everything. We can't see it because he's invisible, which ends up with this most bizarre rape of of Griffin, which is again, and it was Hyde's like nonchalant, chipper attitude for it that really just sells it, and it was just crazy. It was just crazy. But okay, so finally, Murray and Quatermain arrive at Dr. Moreau, and they're invited to dinner upon being asked what they were sent there for. This mysterious H-142. As Hyde is enjoying dinner as Griffin dies. You hear like Griffin like dying, and as he dies, his blood starts to become visible, and it's everywhere. The blood is just everywhere. Nemo turns up and he sees his corpse, this mutilated and raped corpse, and he's like, it does his head in. He can't deal with it. And this episode, the penultimate one, ends up with the Martian tripods amassing across the Thames, ready to invade London. So the final part, we have Murray and Quarterman. They're given the H-142 by Moreau, and they're sent back on a train to London. Hyde had this fantastic final wonderful moment. He meets Mina Murray for the last time, and he expresses his like genuine affection and love for her. He asks to kiss her. It's really bizarre and beautiful. It's, again, as only Alan Moore can really do. And he goes off to battle tripods, and he has a fantastic moment where he meets his final demise. As I said, spoilers, in a way that I think just it's completely right for the character, and it just really, really works. While he's doing that, Mycroft fires Moreau's H-142 into the Martians, and they all die. And it turns out the H-142 is a biological weapon. You know, just as Moreau does the hybrids of animals, he did a hybrid of anthrax and Streptococcus. I have no idea what Streptococcus is, but it sounds pretty bad. And they say they're going to put out the cover stories that the Martians succumb to the common cold. Again, fitting completely in sync with the characters and the original novel. So with that, the League essentially falls apart. We got Nemo's disgusted at the idea of there being chemical and biological weapons. Griffin is dead, as is Hyde, and Mina Murray wants to spend some time alone, and it just kind of leaves Alan Quarterman alone, aged alone and dishevelled on a park bench, and that's really where it ends off for now. The next book in the series is called The Black Dossier. I've really got to reread it because I just remember it being really weird and not sure what the hell was going on here. But I've really got to reread it, and I think then we have Century, and then we got the Nemo books, which are really, really good as well. And hopefully by the time I finish all that, I'll be done with reading Tempest. I'm going to take notes as I read Tempest because it's so freaking dense. Again, I'm only halfway through the first issue. Fine, my name is Felix Beck and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you've enjoyed this content, if you can consider subscribing, that would be fan-dabby double dozy. If you want me to talk about anything, just let me know. Look, I'm happy to do comic reviews or anything, really. If anything you guys would like me to do, I'm more than happy to do it. And let me know what you think in the comments. I will always try and respond to your comments. And have yourself a fantastic day. Thank you for listening.